Hello everyone and welcome to the Green Man channel. Hope you're all doing good and well. So it's time for an album review this Saturday. In fact, the first of two album reviews I've got lined up for two very different albums here. And we're going to start with a Viking Metal album from a band called From North. And this is their second album called Raven Banner, which was released yesterday via Attorn Records. And the album is 10 tracks and about 40 minutes in length. So yeah, this very much lives up to the bill of sounding like and feeling like a Viking Metal album. In fact, whilst listening to this, I thought this album would actually be best enjoyed in the company of real Vikings, maybe, you know, swigging back some ale, singing along, and just generally having a merry time with other Viking folk, and just really kind of living the experience of this album, because it is just that kind of an album. It's the kind of album you either want to be all in for and up and in for the journey of just having good old sing-along fun, or it's the kind of album that you don't want it to be a part of at all, probably, and you probably really wouldn't enjoy it. At least that's kind of the way I feel that this album is going to be one of those kind of albums, a little bit divisive, because it is just that very particular style of fun and momentous kind of sounding Viking metal, with lots of big sing-along choruses, but also, you know, passages with some variations of melodic death metal riffing, folk elements, cleaner passages as well. It's not all, it doesn't sound necessarily very big or epic as such in the way that other albums in this style would, and sort of more power metal leaning albums in this style, I would say that I can think of a few. It's a bit more refrained, but there's definitely some issues I have with this album relate to its sound and some of its execution. In particular, the harsh vocals on this album sound very, very forced. And I think it's a shame, because I do think sometimes there's actually some pretty cool stuff going on, but the harsh vocals take me out of the song. I just can't quite enjoy them. I find it a bit of a struggle. But yeah, let's go into some of the songs actually from this album, so to get an idea more of what you're in for. Song by song. So the opening song, Raven Banner, is a very memorable sing-along track, just like quite a few other songs on this album as well. And it just feels like, you know, for me, it doesn't always... It's one of those tracks where you're very reliant, I think, on the chorus of the song, and it could do with a bit more development for me than it necessarily does, but it just delivers well on what it is. With a pretty solid chorus anyway. So again, it's one of these kind of songs that you probably enjoy if you're in the mood for it. Berserkers has some pretty rapid fire melodic death metal stuff to it. I quite enjoyed that one actually, but this is where the harsh vocals came into the song a bit more, and where I sort of found myself thinking, yeah, I'm quite enjoying the death metal style of the song, but the harsh vocals are making me dip out of the song as well. So it was kind of, I was a bit conflicted with that particular track, the third track on the album, Berserkers. Fifth track, Harmbidder, I thought that was pretty cool actually. I enjoyed the melody of that song a lot, and could listen to that in full, quite enjoy it with or without Viking Ale by my side. I quite tag that one. Shield Wall was more of a melodic death style track. In fact, after the chorus you had a very In Flames old school kind of death metal riff to accompany it, and I thought that worked pretty effectively within this track. So by the time we get to the middle of the album, I thought there were some good tracks actually, some good stuff, some interesting, more dynamic aspects to the album started to come in, rather than necessarily just you know, more kind of basic songs. You had something else, I thought, coming into the structure of the album. Track 9 was Jan Vidya. I'm not sure how to quite say the name of the track there, but this was actually probably my favourite song on the album. It was done in the native, I think in native Swedish maybe. Feel free to correct me on that if I've got that wrong. So it was more refrained, nicely delivered. It was just a softer track, but I liked it. I thought, you know, the vocals sounded really good. It delivered a nice kind of melodic song. And this is one out of the whole album, I think I found myself, by the time I got to the end of it, I was like, oh yeah, I really liked that one actually. That's something that doesn't necessarily just kind of have the sort of you know, grandness of some of the other songs, but it's a little more understated, and it's very, very good. And I thought actually from the execution point of view, it's one of the better executed songs on the whole album. But yeah, this is okay. I find it, you know, Even though I've said at the start it's the kind of album that will polarise people, interesting enough for me, I kind of somewhere in the middle with it. You know, I can listen to it, but I wouldn't say it's an album I'm necessarily going to revisit a whole lot, unless I am in the company of lots of Vikings. Then maybe, yeah, I will listen to it as long as I've got a few ales by my side. Then I'll be happy. So yeah, I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. It was decent enough. You know, as I say, if you're in for the ride, then you're in for the ride, and you'll probably have a great time. So yeah, that's my review of this one from North Raven Banner. It's a 6 out of 10. Let me know what you thought, though, if you've listened to this, or do go and check it out if I've made you curious enough about what this is. Otherwise, from me, until the next review coming up fairly shortly, bye for now.